I've already done a video covering the miners, the metals, the dollar, and yields. So here I go straight to the portfolio update and specifically my portfolio. So I will do a second video covering the other stocks. That includes subscriber videos and it includes just other stocks that I think are popular, mainstream enough to warrant attention. So here, this video, one of two will be my portfolio, starting in the usual order. So starting off with Newmont. Now, we know, gold closed at the high of day, highest close of week, of month, of quarter. It was just incredible. Late scream after hours. So, 2033, look at my other video. The miners also, I mean, they didn't close an absolute high of day, but very strong close. So with that said, Newmont underperformed, right? It closed way off its highs. It's not bearish. It's still a nice green day, but not up too much. Now you can see it tagged this resistance up here, just the high of this candle. I wasn't sure if this was going to be resistance, but evidently it was. So I added the line just now. So let's call it just 36.4. That'll be the first resistance to close above. I don't really consider this big resistance. It's just some intraday resistance. Next one I've got is here, pretty much 37, just above 37. You can see why, right? It was support here, here, and it was resistance there. That's good enough for me. So we'll call it 37. It's just maybe a little higher than 37, 37.10 or something. After that, it's clear skies. I mean, I would normally say watch out for 38.5, but you got to remember the big picture. We're talking about all-time new highs in gold, and we're looking at Newmont just doing little 2.5% resistance. I'm zooming out to keep everything in perspective. So yes, intraday, these levels I think will count, but as soon as we start to clear 37, I think it's time to start hitting the descending. And even there, I mean, the descending, we should be way above 50s. So let's see. I still think the descending will be valid resistance. By that I mean it won't be intraday. So it could sort of level off after touching it wherever it is when it touches it, right? It'll take 1-2 days. But I think we'll be nearing, probably 38. It could coincide with 38.50/39. But when we hit this descending, I expect 1 or 2 days, maybe just one, and then bam, up we go. And after that, way beyond 40. I'm talking about, 42.50 should be the first real resistance on the way up after taking out the descending. Now that's all looking on the upside. I'm really only interested in the upside because I think we've seen the lows. I think this deserves to be way higher. And I'm actually, I haven't sold since buying the lows across the board. Newmont, I think 30s I bought. I mean, I bought the lows across the board. But I'm not looking to trim this. Normally I would have probably sold by now a little bit. And I'd probably trim just a little 2, 5, max 10% each time I'd hit a new level, but I'm looking for a bigger move. So that's why I'm covering the moves on the way up. On the way down, I guess support will be prior resistance. So here we go, 35.5-ish, which is what we touched on Thursday. And then if we keep going down, then it's going to be, 30, 33.5, but probably a bit higher, 34. I just don't see us going back down. I really don't. And that'll do for Newmont. All right, Barrick Gold, much stronger. You can see that straight away. Also, just like Newmont, it tagged, at the low of day, prior resistance, guaranteeing it as support. So that's beautiful technical behavior, right? So resistance becomes support. We tagged it, closed near high of day, pretty much matching the GDX. I don't really see much immediate resistance until we hit, normally I would say maybe here 17 because we saw the tails here, but I would say going all the way up here, 17.3, let's say, just before the gap, or maybe filling the gap, 17.5. I could put another line, it doesn't really matter. But unlike Newmont, I don't see much near-term resistance until we go up several percentage points up. So let's just say 17s, and then ultimately 18.5. These horizontals I think are still valid. Again, zoom out, remember the big picture. We deserve to be at least up here, 20, big round number. I think it's a bit of a magnet now. Barrick Gold, big stock, a bit like Newmont. It deserves to be at least at 20. It's a big round number. It's still way, way too cheap. And it would, at that point, just be a descending test anyway. So if you want to zoom out, I think where we're going 20 before we really hit resistance. But intraday, it'll take several days to get all the way up. 18.5 and then 20. And here you go. That's where I think we'll stop off on the way. Now on the way down, I think resistance has become support. So support should be 16.2 roughly. If we keep going down, I mean, I'd really bring this up. You know, I'd say something like this, 15.5-ish. See a lot of support down there. It's true that if we keep going lower, then I guess here, 15.2, I don't see us going this far down. I mean, I think we need to catch up big time. So otherwise the other horizontals are correct. I don't see any ascending, anything else to add. I don't think we're going to get this low at all. I think it's wise to just look at the upside. Okay, next one is Agnico-Eagle, even stronger. This is really the strongest senior, I think, off the top of my head. So Agnico-Eagle, look at that. It's already taken out its descending, right? We saw that already. No, I forgot to do a video last week. I was going to say it last week, but I think 2 weeks ago already, it was already looking strong. It had already penetrated its descending. And there you go. Look at this, just total freight train, runaway freight train. Next resistance, we pretty much touched it. Look at that big round number, 60. I mean, if there's continuation, it's honestly, I'm going to move it up. I normally it would be the high of day. So Thursday, big round number, 60. And 60 was resistance. I mean, the fact that it tested 59 point, whatever that is, 85, that's the same as 60. So that's done. I'm just going to move it up a little bit because if there's any continuation in the miners, I mean, this is definitely going to go up. What is that? 1 or not even 2%. Yeah. So for sure, I think we go past 60 and go maybe 60 point, whatever that is, 61. Actually, 61 will be resistance at this point, just because of how much progress it made on Thursday. After 61, up we go here. Totally makes sense. So let's call it 66. Yeah, 66. After that, there's a little gap fill there you could see, but it's just such a simple move that I would ignore it and I'd say, nah, we'll go for 74 after that. And then we've made quite a move. Think about it. We're going to be all the way up here. There's only one really other move. If I do the weekly, yeah, we're at the highest. So I might as well complete it and add the final resistance, which is really, I mean, no, you could probably call it 90. We're way off there, but it's just quite simply going to go all the way up to 90, you know? And this will get there a lot faster than the other seniors. The all-time highs, it's a lot quicker. It's a lot stronger. This is a really, really solid stock. So yeah, there you go. 61, 65, 74, 88. Not in one go. Looks really, really strong. On the way down, of course, every horizontal you see, which would have been resistance, will be support. This descending could act, but imagine we do start to topple down, it'll probably coincide with this horizontal. So I could even delete it, but I prefer to do that after at least back tests once. Next one, Pan American Silver, finally looking strong. Clear breakout of this resistance here, 14.5. Didn't even back test it. It doesn't matter. And that's not the kind of gap that will necessarily fill. Next resistance, 15 point, let's call it 6, just below, just the high of these two candles. I don't see, I mean, the thing is, if silver starts to take out 26, obviously look at my other video because I'm not going to go over it here, but $26 is a huge milestone for silver. If we can close above it, this stock is not going to care about the descending. It's going to go straight to 17, which honestly, I feel like 17 is a huge resistance. Normally the descending is the biggest resistance. It's my favorite one to trade, especially when there's a breakout of something that I believe in long term. It's just really worth it. But here I feel like this 17 zone is just a bigger resistance than descending. And if you can close above the 17, it's kind of like the equivalent of silver closing above 26. It's just huge. It's a multi-month resistance, and it's very, very clear. So if you close above 17, and I mean something substantial, not 1702 and the next day we're at 1660, like that doesn't count. I'm talking about 1702, the next day 1720, like we're spending 1 or 2 days above 17 and up we go. And then I think we'll go straight to 20. Yeah, we'll stop off here at this little 18.5 zone, but basically up to 20. And at that point, people will zoom out and realize, wait a minute, the low is in, this is going to 30. And, you know, from 20 to 30, that's a 50% move. And this is a big stock. This is probably one of my favorite holds, like definitely top 5 because I like a lot. But this is just, I'm very happy to see this finally break out of this 14.5 zone because look how long we've been below it. So Pan American Silver, we just need silver to assist, but otherwise looks good for a test of 17. And after you take out 17, it's over. On the way down again, the horizontals is what I see as support. So prior resistance 14.5, that will be support. If we keep going lower, you know, although this is support, it's probably not going to go that low because I think all the miners are by the dip candidate, so probably 14. But yes, if we have some overflush, 13.5, and then etc. Again, I don't want to waste too much time looking at the lows. I'm not interested. Next one, SSRM. Now, this one, which was doing its own thing. I mean, whilst everyone else is rallying, this was going down, consolidating. It's just doing its own thing. It's been crushed. It's working on its own momentum. And it was strong when the others were weak. So I don't want to say it makes sense that it's weak when the others are strong, but it doesn't surprise me. However, I think we're done with the sort of individual characteristics, right? So SSRM is done trading its own stuff. It's, for me, it's confirmed that it doesn't belong below 4. I mean, you know, gold was going up, it's going down. And then when gold was weak, it wasn't necessarily weak. So, I mean, gold wasn't exactly weak recently, but it had 1 or 2 days where it wasn't strong and you could see SSRM was not going down. And here we have, again, my favorite, the breakout of the long-term descending. And I said, well, it wasn't obvious for me at the time when it was trading below 4, but I remember saying if it closes above 420, we're good. And I think on the day it closed above 420, it was like 433. And for me, that was clear. It was outperforming the sector. And then now what do we do? Well, look at that actually. We absolutely retested next resistance, which is 450. We closed below it, no big deal. If we have any continuation, I think the damage is already done to the bears. I think we're going all the way up to 5. But I think if we close above 4.5, which I think we're going to do on Monday, let's go back to the daily. This thing is ready. You know, 4 for me, it's 4.5, then it's 5. Yes, there'll be this intraday pit stop at 470, but then it's 5. It's actually just below 5, but a close above 5, and now you're looking at 6, 7, 8, 9. I really think that it could go crazy. So I'm very happy. Again, this is a vacuum, right? We know why it went down. Turkish mine destruction. And now we've got, you know, that news has been digested. We've got gold and silver gold making absolute highs. And this was a steal at 10. And here we are at 4 with gold up like $300 higher since the news of its washout, literally. So I think this is finally looking like it wants to test 5. And I think once you close above 5, it can really run. I don't know how high, but there's no resistance really until 8. That doesn't mean you get there in one go, but you've got everything else going for it. So it looks very, very good. I like SSRM. The lows, by the way, I guess $4, and after that, it's going to be this low of 375. And then after that, I've got some lines in from absolute historic lows. Basically $3, low threes, $3. Doesn't really matter. We're not going to get there. Next one, Wheaton. So this one had a flush on supposed bad news, but it wasn't actually bad news. It was just, in my opinion, good news. You know, we're going to grow 50% in 5 years, something like that. Market didn't like it. Okay, bought the low. Look at that, clear support. And that's when gold wasn't looking too good. And then gold started to go well, and up we got. And to be honest, we've just completely gone way above the drop, taking out the descending. Wheaton is a fantastic royalty. So, and again, you know, this was a good close here. It kind of matches GDX. I think, actually, let me think here. 50-ish is where we're going to go. We should have a pit stop at 48.5 because I do see that as resistance. It's very light resistance. 48 and 48.5, let's say. Next up, yeah, 49.6-ish. 50 itself isn't actually resistance, which is funny enough. I see just below 51 resistance. And then, well, then it should be the absolute all-time highest, 52.8. I know, and then there's one more, 58 itself. Looks very good though. Looks like it wants to just test the top range. So here you've really got just, I don't want to say intraday, but mini levels. No real resistance, probably until just above 50, 51. Then you're going to have one maybe at 52.5. But this is just strong, it's just printing money. These streamers, these royalties are just printing money. So there should be a bit of resistance here. I very, very rarely have ascending resistance, but I think this one makes sense. So, but just to be safe, you could trim some here. I haven't trimmed anything, but honestly, when things start to get a bit overextended, I may do my first trim just on general principle. But yeah, then there's one more move up to 58. That's the absolute all-time high. And look at that. I've got another ascending resistance just in case. Just super strong, all the way up to 50, above 50, and then maybe even test the upper 50s at the very end. And then probably make new highs and run. This bull market is going to be here for a while. So I'm in no hurry. This is a very defensive stock. The royalties, the streamers, I don't mind buying on the way down. And on the way up, I can just hold. But again, I may start to trim when I start to see it just hitting, all-time highs or just encountering strong resistance just below all-time highs. Next one, Franco Nevada. This one I don't have on my list. Yeah, this one. Beautiful. Finally, destruction from the Panamanian operation, taking out the descending, running. Look at this. We have not really closed above the high of this month, March. So you would, not exactly outperforming all of them. You'd expect it to at least close above the high of this like Thursday, whatever, the 21st of March. Next resistance. Yeah, I see this as resistance. You can see why it was support here. It was not the clearest support there, but still a bit of a resistance when we retested. But more importantly, not the horizontal, but the actual zone. Let's call it 122. It's this descending. And you can just see why you've got sort of double resistance here. So maybe this is the level of resistance it should be. Now, if you take it out, then you've got the next prior support. So that's why I've got that as possible resistance. Let's call it 128-ish. Let's see. I think it will take a bit of effort to go through that. So I do think this will work as resistance. 128. Otherwise, after that, and after that, got 140, 141, maybe 140 actually. Got a bit of resistance there, and it's a big round number. There you go. Support, it'll just be downside prior support. So yeah, let's call that 113-ish. Yeah, 113. Oh no, 114, sorry. And then after that, not too clear to me, maybe 112. And if you lose that, then you're going all the way back down to lows. That won't be good. I expect this to go higher. I do. I think it's got a lot of catching up to do. And this is an amazing stock, possibly the best of all of them. So deserves to be a lot higher. Metalla, another streamer, not as big as the other two. You can see this clear resistance 320. We should be closing above that. I think once we do, and it could easily happen on Monday, then we run to basically 360. I just feel like 350 could be a little bit of a pit stop, but essentially it's 360. That's your next real level. It's the high of this entire last couple of months. And after that, we're going to 4 big round number price support. So, and zoom out, remember, we're at all-time highs. So if you have a good stock, and I believe Metalla is a pretty decent stock with a good business, you should start making a lot of money, right? I mean, if this momentum starts and other institutions get involved, because it's a very small market, this gold and silver market, and if they start to choose the right companies, that's what I think I've got, not totally unknown juniors here, then you could see big 100% plus moves quite quickly, and I'm thinking Metalla will be one of those. So the horizontal ones you see on the way up, that's the resistance. I don't think there's any other descending, ascending other than what I've got, and it's already breached it. So close above 320, and then we run. If we go down, I got 290. I'm not sure if $3 itself will be support, but 290, and then yeah, 270. I think I'll leave it as it is. Right, that is the seniors done, and now the royalties done. Let's look at the silver stocks. Looking good. And by the way, silver has not exactly been running. So Imagine when silver starts to run, these silver stocks that have got good gains, some of them, they will really, really start to shine. So First Majestic, first one, closed above resistance, closed above all the others. Gap fill, yeah, done. Good move, $6 also. So that was, I think we just keep going. You know, obviously we need silver to perform. You can't really expect First Majestic to have a continuation of a run if silver's down 1% on Monday. But I am really, it's all about silver. For me, silver closing above 26 because gold's done its fair share. It's done it's taken the baton, it's ran, it's done its little 2 or 3 laps, and now it's for the next person to, you know, silver to pick up the baton and sprint. And if we get silver reaching 26, closing above 26, it doesn't even matter what's going on with gold. This will run. Now, next resistance for me is this old high over here, 650. Simple. I used to have it descending, but we've taken it out. It's just going to damage the picture. So 650, we are in squeeze mode. It's early stages. It doesn't look like it, but you know, we have had a nice run from the lows all the way up here, 40%. I was telling people to buy here and I didn't do it myself because I was buying something else. I forgot what it was. It was probably, it might have been some seniors. It could have been Pan American Silver, Couer, I don't know, but well done. A bit like Heckler, I wanted to buy at the lows. I'll get to that in a second. Didn't because I was buying something else. And I think this, you know, Heckler went up more than the thing I bought, but it doesn't matter. Direction is up. So First Majestic 650 is next level. A close above 6 would be nice, but I think that's inevitable. So I'm looking at the next real resistance at 650. After that, it's 7. It's nice and simple. After that, it's 8. There's no 750 resistance. And honestly, once you're at 8, you're probably in the middle of a big squeeze and silver is above 26. And I'll probably get to do another portfolio update by then. So that's all I'm going to say for that. 650, 7, 8 on the way down. Well, 580 should be support because that was prior resistance, right? 1, 2, 3. If we keep going down, then I expect 520 to be support. And by that, I mean just above 520. And after that, it's the lows. It's probably 450 or something, but I don't see us going there. So that's First Majestic. The next one is Fortuna. That's also doing very nicely. Look at that move off the lows. That's quite nice. A nice 40% move. Quite a few of them will go about that much. So continuation above resistance. It was actually already above on that Wednesday. So continuation on Thursday. What we need is, I don't actually see $4 as resistance. It's quite funny. I've got 392-ish, right? The high up here and also the high on this day, sneaky. So let's call it 390. A move above 390. Well, really, let's go straight for the absolute resistance. For me, it's 415, but really it's 420 because that's the kind of number I meet. I've been trading the markets for a long time, and honestly, once you take out the big round number like 4, which in this case isn't resistance, the next resistance is really 420. So we want to see a close above 420, and then you can start hitting for 460, I would say. So yeah, 390 to 420, 460. That's what I see. Support will be prior resistance, so support will be 360. And if we keep going down, it should be 320, and then etc. What you see, I don't think we're going to go that low. So Fortuna looks very good, just like First Majestic, possibly better than First Majestic. Well, at least so far. Well, actually, it's done about the same, hasn't it? There's not that much resistance on the upside because as soon as you take out this 420, which could be done in 2 days, yeah, 460, then it's 550. That's a big move. So that's very big moves. Lots of big moves awaiting us. Next one is, well, normally I introduce it as my favorite, but it's got a lot of competition. Ah, no, it's my favorite. Look at that. Closed above the all-important 370. Clear breakout. It was already stronger than the others here. And then here, it had strong green days when some of the others were actually red. That's what gave it away. And it's just, this one moves so much. If silver starts to close above 26, this one is just going to go catapulting up. So for me, next resistance, I honestly see nothing. I don't see fours resistance. Do you? Any of these candles? No. Nothing. So for me, next resistance is really 450. Why do I say 450? Because it's kind of the high up here. 440. There's actually nothing at 450. It's 455 and 440. Maybe that's why I said 450 as a general vague resistance, but in reality, 430, 450. Okay, I'll just leave it there. 455. Okay, that's why 450. Let's just do 450. There you go. 450. You may start to encounter resistance at 430, but the point is nothing at 4. And this is a monumental move. You know, we're talking about how much of a percentage move. It's not that much on the chart here, but you know, that's 20%. And then let's zoom out. Where are you? You're down there. This is not some trashy stock, by the way. This is one that really is leveraged to the price of silver. So, I mean, I don't know that much about the stocks, but I've known CD for years, and that's what I know about it. It moves when silver moves. So just had to add a little descending. This thing can go to $10 real fast, and we're still massively, massively far away from all-time highs. And where are we? We're in the threes pretty much, you know, not even 4. So yeah, incredible. Now support will be prior resistance. So you could say it's 370. And then after that, I have to adjust this. Actually, this is no longer true. Whoops. So 370 is your first support. After that, I'm going to say 360. After that, I'll say 330. And after that, 3. And I don't think we're going to go under 3. Right, next one is Discovery. This one is the only junior I own, and it is possibly the worst performing stock of them all. So I'm very happy I don't own juniors this time around. I look at the other juniors, yes, some of them are nice and green, especially on a day like Thursday. But honestly, there are some days where gold is up $10-$20, GDXJ is all up 2%, and some of them are down 9, some of them are up 3, and it's just all over the place, illiquid and not correlated to the miners. It's just moving because of some fake bid-ask spread with no volume. And even if it's up 10%, you probably wouldn't be able to sell one share. And I'm so happy I don't own them. At least I'm making money in stocks that are following the GDX, in many cases outperforming, you know, the GDX, GDXJ, whatever they are. But Discovery is the only junior I hold. I do, however, you know, with all that said, I mean, this thing should already be above 70 cents. But I do feel like it's starting to perk up, and a little bit of liquidity and up we go. This should move, but I will not add any money to it because it's already worth a decent amount, and I would prefer to buy something else. It's the only exception I made. This is the only junior I hold, and I do think it will go all the way up. But there you go. I'm actually quite happy that it's not performing that well. It just vindicates what you know, the portfolio strategy I have, which is to just avoid juniors. Like, I'm done. I don't need to. I can make 200% owning seniors like Newmont, Barrick Gold, and I just don't need the extra risk that juniors contain, which is just, you know, financing and lack of liquidity and just general uncertainty. So anyway, with all that said, Discovery looks okay. Need to take out this descending, which is massively important. Look how long it's been lasting. We take this out at about 56 cents. You know, imagine you close above 56 cents. The next step will be a quick move to, well, actually be 59. And after 59, you got 65 and then 70. But this I see as a big squeeze. It should have already happened. If silver's at 26, I don't care, junior or not junior, this thing will squeeze. I mean, it looks like it's bottomed at this support here. And by the way, support, of course, is now confirmed at 50 cents. If we do go below that, the next horizontal 47.50 and then 44. What you see is what you get. But yeah, if we can just pop a little bit and close just above these two highs here, let's call it 56 cents. You're outside the descending. You've taken out the recent horizontal high. And yeah, then you squeeze, like I said, 59, 65, 70. And then once you're above 70, it's the real squeeze to 1, past 1. So I still believe this can do the move I expect from it, but it's, as usual with juniors, delay and prone to possible permanent postponement. but it's coming. I think it's coming. There you go. All right. Finally, no, not finally. Actually, I rearranged it a little bit. EXK, the one I hated possibly the most, along with Mag Silver. Mag, I'm going to cover right next, but EXK just here, just when I'd given up all hope, and I did not add to it on the way down. I really wish I had, because I think it's been the greatest outperformer. I mean, from this low, almost 70%, pretty good. It feels like 100. That day was just the day. Look at that, just bullish move up. Anyway, I've covered it before. Up we go. Now, this was resistance. I was thinking about trimming here, and I said, no, we're sticking with the thesis, even though it's obvious resistance. And it is, because not only is it horizontal, and this horizontal isn't that obvious, but the descending, come on, that one's obvious. Just as obvious as this one here. Maybe not as obvious, but there you go. It was very clear resistance after it spent a few days there. And then look, we've broken out, and he wants to go to the next one. Where's the next obvious resistance? Well, for me, it's around here. I'm going to say 280-ish, but between 280 and 270, I'm going to call it 275. So that's still a little, 10, maybe over 10% move from where we are. 10, 15%. And I think it can get there. And after that, we've got 3. That's a big round number. It's also clear resistance on a horizontal perspective. So those are the next 2 levels, both horizontals, 275 and 3. And after that, I see nothing until 390, let's say, 388. And then et cetera, what you see. So I am, however, starting to consider trimming some of them. I know my thesis is to hold, and I'm in the middle of an account transfer, so I can't even trade. But if this transfer is to settle, and if we keep going up, and I see some stalling in some of these miners that have had, well, by then it'll be 100% move. I'm going to have to trim a little bit. So, and I don't mind, just to bring it back to, I mean, the value of this just dropped so much on the way down, and here it's going to start to be worth more than some of the big boys I'm holding, some of the big silver, other stocks that I'm holding. So very happy. Next resistance, by the way, there's this also here, 260. I'm not sure, but I'm going to stick with the big one. So there you go. Those are the silver resistance. Support will be prior resistance. So 230 should be maybe just a bit below. And then I'm going to say $2. Big round number, but also touched it once. So 230, $2. And after that, I don't really care. I think it's just the all-time low. I don't see it coming back down though. There you go. That's ESK. Finally, when it comes to the silver stocks, Mag Silver, I'm now including that as my silver stocks I used to have as a miscellaneous, but it's clearly silver. Finally starting to outperform again. No, not again, for the first time. I mean, it's underperformed for months. Then what happened is it had this ugly day here. And I remember thinking, my God, why don't I just get rid of this here? But, I've decided not to sell anything for a while, not even to buy anything. And my last buy was IAMGOLD. I think that's the last buy I'm doing, because now I'm very heavy with my miners, very heavy. It's worth, I said 60% of my portfolio could be a little bit more. And normally when it's worth 50%, it's like no more than this. Here at 60, and if we have another 1 or 2 up days, it's 65, 70% very quickly. So I need to trim just on a risk management perspective. But anyway, look, next day, bam, up it goes. Had good news. I think it was good drill results. Perfect, just what it needed after this horrible day. Closed above resistance. Gold is looking good. And then bam, you have your continuation. Another fantastic day, 7%. So why not continue? Close the high of day. Next resistance I've got, and we're above 10 now, by the way. So it's quite significant. I see this level here, just above 11. These 2 highs here, that's the reason. But also this descending, right? So I think I'm going to hit resistance here. Now, I don't like this stock, but it has had very good news just recently, and it's still massively crushed. So could it do a bit of an EXK and continue? Maybe. So I'm willing to hold it even after we get here. But my plan initially was to just dump it and buy something else on the retracement. But, maybe silver's just going to start pumping, close above 26, and it could start to really run to 30, and max silver by then should be much higher. So there you go. Just above 11, let's call it 11.20. After that, I've got the old high of 12. And after that, it's going to be 13.5, and we'll see after that. But support will be these horizontals. So let's call it $10, maybe just below 10. It's quite hard to call, actually. Let's say 9.80, and then after that, $9, and after that, 8.30. Right. Next is Aris Mining. I've only got 3 or 4 left. This is just my portfolio. I'm not doing everyone else's stocks in this video. This stock has been outperforming for a long time, done very well. And finally, I think it's about to clear the all-important 365 level. We closed our high of day. We took out resistance. Perfect. We just need a couple of cents more. I think we'll close at 360 or something. Just if you can close above 368, I think the high is 367 over here. If you just close above 368, then what do we have? We have absolute void until 480, and that's a big move. And it's justified because that's a 30% move, and I think it could do it in 1 week because this stock is very much unknown. It's got great dividend. It's got a good sound balance sheet, a good production, and I don't know anything about these stocks. I know the very basics, and as far as I know, it's got a lot going for it, and just the structure of the chart alone, it was making higher lows when everything else was making lower lows, and then it pumped, and then obviously we had a bit of a drop in gold, but the chart remained intact, the bull trend remained up, and now we're starting to get a bit of strength behind us, and we've got absolutely every reason behind us for the stock to keep going, and I think we can just close above let's say 370. I don't see anything until 480. Huge move, and even then, I don't want to zoom out too much; it gives away the wrong picture. But this was supposed to be left for dead, but it just it cleaned up its balance sheet, and now it's a really good story. So look it up, Aris Mining 480, and after that 660, and by then you've done pretty much 100% move, and that's when it can really start to squeeze. I mean, it's not going to make back all of this stuff because there's a lot of there's a reason for the flush dilution and all this stuff, but this could definitely go all the way up to 650 before everything is said and done. So very nice Aris Mining, very nice. And by the way, for support, well, I would just say usually prior resistance, but we've just taken it out. But let's just say 350, 350. After that, 320, or maybe let's say 345 and 340. It's hard to tell. There's also a bit of a bid ask spread, but 320 is your first real support, and after that 280, super strong support. You've also got the ascending coming up at that point. Okay, next one, Gold, the last one I bought it at 305 and 295. I remember that quite well. The 3 was my average, and for me this one was strong here. I kept my eye on it even before everything else was making lows, and this was just holding this level and actually making higher lows overall. And I could see it just curling, and this pennant was coming, this, look at this descending pennant breakout, and then it broke out at 280. But I was watching other stocks, I was buying other stocks, and I was deep down, I knew that this was going to run. And I zoomed out, and I can just see the pattern, look at this here. I know what's going on, zoomed in, and I just feel like it's going to run. I know there's a very good story behind it. I know a lot of big companies like it. I just thought this is going to go to 5. Obviously, I just thought other stocks might go up more, but this was just more guaranteed to me. So I thought, screw it, let's just chase it. And it's only just come out of a breakout, and it's got so much to run. So anyway, I thought I'd buy it on the drop, just pre-FOMC and then post-FOMC. And here we go. So we closed pretty much at resistance. That's still bullish for me because we popped our head above. And I think we've got a little continuation expected. Next up, 380. And after that, I see nothing until 540-ish. That doesn't mean we just get there in one go. There'll be a bit of back and forth, and it'll find some resistance on the way because gold's leveling off, or the general GDXs, and okay, all of that is a given that just because I don't have some other resistance, it's not going to encounter resistance on the way. But there's no major resistance until 535, let's say, once you take out 380. And that is a beautiful move for me. In fact, just where it is now, I really think we're going to get to the 5s. That's 62%, and that's not even the highest I think it's going to get to. So this could make a lot of percentage moves. So I'm very happy with that. On the way down, no problem on the way down. So 320 could be a bit of support, but that's, I mean, you could take that out in one day. But the next real support is 290. After that, I see 275. That should be strong. And if we keep going below that, then it'll be this ascending support. So I'll clear this chart up a bit more later, but I just thought it was worth keeping everything in for now. Right, second last one, SBSW, Sibanye-Stillwater. This one is such a little high risk. But I have a decent amount in it. Now, I think my average is where we are now, or just a little higher. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? Look, zoom out. It's not just gold, it's platinum, palladium, rhodium. I don't even know the metals, but it's a bit of a multi-metal play. But all you got to know is that Rick Rule likes it, if I understood correctly. But also technically, I love it. I bought it for this breakout here. It's done it. It's come back down. It's retested and successfully held. I think that a little close above 480, and this little monster could really squeeze. I think we get right up to 580. Yes, I do think these are resistances on the way up, these horizontals, but I think this can just bam, squeeze and just hit the top like 580 within 3 days. So these are just intraday things. Look at the zoomed out. And once you clear 580 or whatever it is, 585 or something, it's probably 580, then 7, which is a big move, then 8, and then it can go higher. And if gold and silver continue to run, which they already indicate that they intend to do, at least gold, I mean, this can go up a lot. So it's high risk. I think there are issues with it, but if the metal prices start to run, especially palladium and platinum, this should be a real leverage play on the metals. And I think you can get 100% on this real easy. Real easy. Now, on the way down, got to cover the way down. $4 is your first support. After that, well, I guess you can throw 380, whatever this is, 385 in there too. It could be a fake breakdown like it was. So just add 385. And then after that, you got the COVID lows, 350-ish. And then you got this sort of $3. So nice and simple, 350, $3. But this is a higher risk one, but I'm in it. This is a little lottery ticket. I mean, I think I can make quite a lot of percentage point in this one as well as the others, but this one I consider more of a lottery ticket just because it's a little riskier if I understand the stock quite well. Finally, GLGDF, Gogold, my smallest holding, worth very little. But anyway, this one, first of all, look at this descending. 1, 2, 3, you could say this 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, how many times has it hit it? This is such justified descending. You can see it touched it, which coincided with this horizontal, perfect, 94 cents, let's say, closed below it. And what do I expect? I expect if there's any continuation in the metals and the miners, which I do expect, this thing will close above it, and then it doesn't even matter what happens the next day. Gold could go down. Gogold should pop to 115-ish, which is massive resistance, but this is possibly bigger resistance because of how long it's endured. So the descending, we close above it. Be good if you close above 1 just to give it an extra emphasis. Then 115, then all these horizontals I've got 130, 145, etc., etc. Now I'll be out by then because this one is one of 2 stocks, or is it 3 that I want to eliminate and maybe not necessarily buy something else with the proceeds. Like this one, I also had Mag Silver, but you know, I've just shown you how Mag Silver's just had good news and it could pop, especially with silver. And EXK used to be the other one, but that one's just been the best performer. So this is really the only obvious one that I want to sell. But then again, look, if we take out the descending, this should run. It'll be technically perhaps one of the most strongest stocks on a technical basis, and it hasn't really run yet. So it should have done it by now. But look, it looks like we're 1 or 2 days away from doing a proper descending breakout. On the way down, it's quite simple. I got this 83-ish low. It's not very liquid, so the bid ask can just fake the level a bit, but basically 83, and then after that, the 70 low. Right, that'll do. I can see why I prefer breaking them up than doing 2 videos, because right now I'd have to do another 10 and I'm quite exhausted. So I hope that was useful. Hopefully tomorrow morning I can do the other one, and hopefully we can continue to go up, because some of these are really running and it just takes a little bit more effort, and then technically they'll look so strong, and then the usual people will start to pile in, momentum traders, high frequency, but still we're very much under the radar. Like no one really talks about gold, and let alone the miners. So I think we're in a nice place, small niche, and I expect a lot more profit this year, a lot more, especially in the miners. Okay, thank you. Let me know, by the way, in the comments if there's certain stocks, certain stocks that you like, certain you don't like. Maybe I can just focus on a specific core set of stocks. Like this Gogold, I don't even like it. I'm going to get rid of it. And if none of you guys care about it, mention it, then I can just not cover it. Or maybe just list the ones you do want me to cover. It might be an easier way to narrow it down. Not just these stocks, but the other stocks I'm going to cover in my next video when I do it, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, in the comments, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff if you find it of value. Thank you. Have a good Easter weekend otherwise.